And we're back. You're tuned into Sport Federation TV. As promised, joining me now from the world of synchronized swimming, we have Sue Manners-Wood and Shannon Whyte in studio. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us. Well, synchronized swimming is, I mean, if you've seen it on TV, such a beautiful sport. Shannon, how did you get involved?
Well, actually, I first followed my sister into it. So she did it, and I used to have to sit and watch her, and I got bored watching her. So then I just copied her. And then I kind of loved it after that, and even when she stopped, I carried on going.
All right,
Yeah.
and at what age did you start swimming?
I started when I was about 10, or even younger actually. I was in grade 3, so I've been doing it for about 15 years, yeah.
15 years,
Yeah.
wow. And Sue, you've got a rich history. You've got your Protea colors on as well, and that can only mean that you're quite accomplished. Tell us about your history.
Well, I was a synchronized swimmer from a very early age. And then when I came to Cape Town to study, I then joined Western Province, and I swam for Western Province for a long time. I also represented South Africa for a number of years, and then after I finished swimming, after my second baby was born, I decided to hang up my nose clip, and I went into coaching. And since then, I've been coaching a club team, and then I coached the Western Cape team, and then more recently I've coached the national team. I've been to 5, this is my 5th World Championship coming up now with my national duet and my national team.
Yeah, well, as someone who has been not only an athlete in the sport, but also a coach, which aspect have you found more fulfilling or brings you more joy?
I love coaching. Coaching is my passion. Synchronized swimming, AKA, it's now had its name changed to artistic swimming, because it's so similar to rhythmic gymnastics, and because it's so similar to gymnastics in the water. They've renamed it artistic swimming. It's the most wonderful sport to coach. It's so fulfilling because it's a combination of dance and ballet and swimming and music, and there's so much to coach all the time.
It seems majestical if you watch it. Shannon, describe it for us. Describe it for the viewers at home who may not be familiar with the sport.
Basically, synchro is a combination of dance and swimming and gym. It's flexibility, it's a bit of everything really. So we do a lot of underwater work, we do a lot of things upside down in the water, we do a lot of things as a team, so there's a lot of teamwork. Mainly working together to do things upside down, leg work, doing things with our legs to show things that look more attractive, so floats, patterns, all of those sorts of things. When we're doing a sort of a display, it's a lot more for the pretty side of it, whereas if we're doing it for a competition, we try to get more difficulty into it.
Yeah. Now, Sue, how accessible is the sport to the general population?
Yes, facilities are a problem. For synchro, you need deep water, and there are very few deep pools in Cape Town. We also, I mean, our weather isn't really conducive to being able to swim all around, so we train at a gym. But there's a very nice event coming up on Sunday, actually. So it's just as well we're here today, where we are going to be showcasing synchro and all the other aquatic disciplines at Sea Point pool, beautiful pool.
Oh.
Yes, it's from 10 o'clock on Sunday, and there's going to be diving and open water swimming and learn to swim. And we're going to do a display, and then we are going to get all the girls in the water to help anybody who wants to learn to synchro.
Oh, that's
so they can come
wonderful.
along from this high to grannies. They can come and learn how to do synchro if they want to.
Yes. Oh, well, speaking about height, how young or what is the prerequisites for someone to get involved in the sport? And I'm referring specifically to the youth.
All right, well, it's obviously a discipline of swimming, so they have to be able to swim. My advice to parents who ask what age their daughters can start, or their sons can start for that matter, is I say it's not as much about the age as about their swimming ability. They must be comfortable in deep water, they must be able to swim at least 100 meters, and not worry about deep water underneath them.
Is there, well, has the sport moved over to also encompassing people with disability?
Yes, it has done. In fact, in the UK, they've got a club where there are quite a few girls who've got Down syndrome, and they have got a team of Down syndrome girls, and Bill May, who's the world male champion, he swam with them. It was absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yeah, wow. Well, you mentioned that there's a lot of underwater work as well, or sequences, if I can call it that. What kind of training is required, and for what is the longest period of time that one would be required to hold their breath in your experience?
So for training, we do a lot of fitness training. So we do a lot of swimming beforehand. So we have a couple of swimming sessions a week where we just do like fitness in the water. We have a couple of strength sessions on the land. And then we do quite a few sessions where we practice our routines, practicing the figures and things to make sure that we can actually hold our breath for as long as we need to for the figures. In terms of holding our breath, it's kind of a standing joke amongst synchronized swimmers of people saying, okay, well, how long can you hold your breath? Because for us, it's not really like okay, let's hold your breath and see how long you can hold it, because it's almost harder to hold your breath when you're not trying to do something than it is while you're actually doing a figure. So we find that we can hold our breath a lot longer when we're doing stuff than if we're just sitting there trying to hold our breaths.
Yeah.
So if you look at sort of the top girls, they could do anything for up to like a 30-40 second figure, but at the same time, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but they doing movements with their whole body, and they using a lot of effort, and they're exerting themselves a lot at the same time, and they're having to try and keep in time with each other. So although it doesn't sound like a really long time, it's a really hard thing to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, what kind of training is involved in having that ability? Because I'm sure there should have been some studies on the lung capacity of artistic swimmers.
Okay. We do a lot of sort of breath training. So we do sort of things like underwater training. So we'll do sort of swimming halfway under the water, and then doing sort of a figure in the middle, and then sort of egg beater to the end or something. Or we'll do sprints where we have to then try and train your breath to hold it for longer, or that sort of thing where you it's anaerobic, so you're using as little air as possible to do as much as you can.
And the training is quite intensive, hey?
Yeah.
Especially if you want to be performing at your peak. And you said there's a lot of team events, so you obviously have the pressure to not let your team down as well. Yeah. Now, with being a coach on your level, also comes with its own pressures, I'm sure, and also the need to want to give the best advice to the athletes that you train. How do you prepare for that?
Planning is vital. There's got to be a whole season planning. There's got to be annual planning. In fact, I plan up to 2 years ahead, depending on what events are coming up. And then there's weekly planning, and then I share with my assistant coaches what we're hoping to achieve in each session, during each week, etc., etc. Like, for example, now we've got a level 1 entry-level schools level competition coming up on the 8th of March. Some of these girls only started synchro at the beginning of the year, and so our plan has been to progressively get them through their paces so that they are ready for that competition on the 8th. And we all work together to make sure that that happens.
How can people get in touch with the organization if they'd like to join or even support?
We do have a website, and we have a Facebook page. It's Barracuda's Synchronized Swimming Club. If they can go and look that, it's a very long website address, but it's there, and then it's obviously on Facebook as well. They could go through CTMA or through Western Cape Aquatics. There's a website for Western Cape Aquatics and for CTMA if they wanted to find out, you know, further than just barracudas. Yeah.
We also have an Instagram page.
We have an Instagram page.
Instagram as well. Excellent. So just search synchronized swimming
Yes.
until you change the name to artistic swimming, I guess. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your passion. I hope the viewers at home are just as piqued, become just as passionate about getting to know your sport better. All the best to you both.
Thank you very much.
All right. After the break, we'll be taking a look at Cape Town darts. So please stay tuned for that.